If you go to the doctor and you say, I'm tired, I'm sluggish, my hair's dry, you'll say, thyroid, you need a thyroid hormone, I'll fix you right now. When you put that hormone in your body, what happens? The body says, okay, hands off, you're now on naproxen, and I will sit in the back seat. And you have to stay on naproxen. And if you don't take your naproxen, your thyroid is just going to cave in, and what happens? I was there. That's what happened to me. And I turned around and said, no. If I take it, I can't make it. And I went on a long, long, long journey with the help of all my friends in pharmacies and health shops and doctors, discovering exactly what the body needs. Is it the medicine or the missing tools and substances, the materials? You know, there's a hole in your wall, you buy a new wall for your house. Or do you get the plaster and the cement? I see lots of it here. You DIY. So I'm a DIY fanatic. Here's the medicine. And you're going to taste it and fiddle with it. Blood types, as you know. The ABO blood type classification. Do you all know what blood type you have? Do I get a full house?
Don't you know?
Okay, start.
Right. So, here we have the blood type. When you normally ask people, they'll say, oh, it's the common one. Which is the common one? I'm the common O. It doesn't end there. Then I'll say to them, which O? Are you a secretor or a non-secretor? And then they think I'm talking about horror films. What are you secreting? Slime coming out of you or what? And basically, we all have a different type of blood. But within that is a subtype. The antigens in your body are secreted and expressed either only in your blood or as part of your digestive system and other hormonal secretions, saliva, or even your perspiration. Now the forensics can tell the difference between a secretor and a non-secretor. Because a non-secretor, you will not see blood type O or an A or a B in the saliva or in the sweat or in any of the digestive juices. And going back to when Charlie Chaplin was challenged with parental paternity suite, they found out that he was the father of the child because the child was an A secretor. And they said, what type of blood are you? And he said, I don't know. And I found out it was A. He said, that doesn't prove it. And they found out that there was blood type A expression in his semen. So the forensics go back a long way about the subtypes. But most people are pretty ignorant about them. And I'd say just about every doctor, with an exception or two, are not going to take note of this. Secretor, non-secretor. Until 2019, and along came the COVID pandemic. Then they started to discover that the A secretor was far more robust and able to shake off the pathogens than the non-secretor. And that's when the whole blood type movement awoke again. So I hope I've triggered enough interest that you should care what your blood type is. It's a big step to take the blood type discipline. So we're going to forget about the blood types now.
Sorry, but before you get, how do you find out if you're a secretor or non-secretor? So I know my blood type's O positive, but then how do you find out the rest?
I can show you very easily with O. There are lists of food and different food tolerances. Now, James and I are therapists who believe in energy medicine, and we can test. So now I can test your tolerance to foods between the O type. There's a variance. The one can handle lentils, the other can't. The other one can handle chickpeas, the other can't.
Oh, well, I eat both.
Which would you like? By the time I'm testing, usually people say, please can I change my blood type? Now we can test remotely, or you can come and stand up here and I can bash your arm up and down. Kinesiology, we can test remotely. So I can test now for you how you resonate with the chickpea. And it's turning anti-clockwise. Ring the gong. Now, it should test the opposite direction for the lentils, not so. Otherwise, I'm just standing here playing with food. I'll close my eyes so you can't see. Everything settled down. And the winner is, and now see my hand moving? Is my hand moving? No, it's not. Now test over and see. Can we have another chance, please? A second chance on the chickpeas. That means you are a O non-secretor. So that's how we tell.
So I mustn't eat the chickpeas anymore, only the lentils.
Now, if you want to eat chickpeas, you can eat chickpeas. If I want to eat lentils, I can eat lentils. But only when they have been sprouted. Let's test me. Here are the lentils, and here are the lentil sprouts. Now it's not saying yes, but it's saying okay, it's neutral. And it's nothing to do with this is a piece of glass. My husband's mother used to be a farmer, and to test whether the pregnant cow was going to give birth to a male or a female, they used to take the ring off their finger, remember? A piece of hair.
Oh my God, yes. When you were pregnant, you did that, yes.
Yeah. When my daughter was pregnant, it went this way and it went that way, because she had twins. Probably the same with your daughter. It's got nothing to do with magic or anything. It's about just extending the expression of your own personal circuits. And as James and I will tell you from the heart book, your own energy extends. The heart energy extends about this big. The whole frequency and the amplitude. The brain is only about like this. So when you talk from your heart, it means you're working from a bigger frequency. When you stand here to talk to someone, it's heart to heart. Okay, so these frequencies can be amplified and interpreted by a gadget. You've all got cell phones. Is that witchcraft? Because there's no wires attached to it? Well, this is a wireless analytical system. Quartz works better because it's got a very neutral pulse. If you put this on top of a quartz crystal, it will pulse. It will jump up and down. So there's a little bit of science to it as well. I don't want to bore you with all that. We're going into our first demonstration because I like to start people off with food that suits all blood types. Right? And they are. You have to look hard for them. And the most favourite one, when you see the children's faces, what you say, the best one to suit all blood types is broccoli. But funny enough, most little children like broccoli, but raw. How do they know that? Another common non-interfering type of starch is rice. Okay? When we get to the dairy products, the blood type B excels at dairy products. The blood type A doesn't. James is also allergic to casein. So I'm sorry, you mustn't listen to the next part. We're now going to ferment the milk with bacteria to break down the lactose. Many people are just lactose intolerant. Nothing to do with blood type. I'm type O. I shouldn't drink a lot of milk. But according to Peter D'Adamo, it's a bit cheesy, a bit cheddar, and splashing in the tea. Right? And I shouldn't drink coffee, and I don't. I instinctively don't, but a lot of O's do. Coffee intensifies your stomach acid. So blood type A, love coffee. The milk is just for fun and flavour, but a blood type O drinking 1 or 2 glasses of milk a day, milk equals mucus, itchy. Stay away from the milk. It's usually a lactose, milk sugar problem. But now lactic acid is your medicine number 1. In the whole wide world, lactic acid is sterile, it is antimicrobial. I don't know, it's off the charts. I've got a bottle here of, you know, Miss Muffet sat on a tuppet, eating her curds and whey. This is whey. We're going to make some now. This is the liquid come from the milk, combined with a bit of salt. I made this in the year 2016. You can smell it, you can taste it, touch it. It just smells like cheese. There's no fungus on here. There's no noo-noos at the bottom. So wouldn't you like more of this in your body? Wouldn't you like it on your skin? Would you like to add it to food? It's salty. It tastes like chicken stock. You can make this stuff. It's a byproduct of what we're really going to make now, and that is cottage cheese. You like cottage cheese? We're going to make this cottage cheese. And we're going to make it from Amasi. Have you all tasted Amasi? Al julle Suid-Afrikaners? Some people don't like it. It has a texture of vomit, but don't worry about that. So much, 1 litre of Amasi is going to make about so much cottage cheese. So you're going to lose a lot of water. The water that comes off Amasi is where all the calcium is. 90% of the calcium is in the whey. The protein is in there. And all the nutrients, the glutathione, all those precursors are in the liquid. Some of them are in here. So you take a colander and you take a cheesecloth. Any cloth will do. I'm doing this one first so you can see. Here comes all the water, and here comes the rest. This is rather revolting.
It's lovely.
You can see it's already starting to drip. To make it drip faster, we add the salt. You have to add salt. And I must say, after years of cheese making, you won't believe how much salt you need to make cheese. Otherwise it tastes really. The best salt is not in the lemons, not all your expensive show-off salt. Just soy salt. And why is it iodate? Potassium iodide. It's one of the forms of potassium we need to protect the thyroid. It's got nothing to protect got nothing to do with the other type of iodine. But it is one of the components of what famous iodine. What's the most famous and the most expensive form of iodine that doctors recommend? Lugol's iodine. Right. So that is the potassium iodide from Lugol's iodine. And what we've got here is elemental iodine. Now, Lugol's iodine, you're paying 85 rand, 90 rand, 120 rand for a bottle. It's actually 85% water. 5% of the elemental iodine from clicks. Because we just making some recipes. Put in the salt. A good teaspoon. Everyone's going, oh, it's sodium. By the time I'm finished here, you'll know why. The other thing we put in is this stuff. I'm going to leave you there in shock. I'm going to show you. We're going to make something called glutathione. Now, glute. Where are your glutes?
The behind.
Muscles. What's that got to do with this? Whey contains 2 amino acids, cysteine and glycine. So now if we want to make our own glutathione, we need glutamine or glutamate. Now glutamine is the amino acid, and when you add 1 molecule of salt to the glutamine, it becomes monosodium glutamate. This stuff. Go tell the doctor. So now we're going to add this to this. A good teaspoon of monosodium glutamate. You're all going to drop dead when you taste this. And we mix it in, and this pulls all the moisture out. In the end, we're going to have cottage cheese. Lovely cottage cheese that you can start making into other cheeses. But the first cheese we make is cottage cheese, very rich in glutathione. Now why am I making a fuss about glutathione? What's the major antioxidant in the human body? What's the one you all buy? You get colds and flu, what do you go and buy?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Yeah, isn't it funny? Vitamin C is not the body's major antioxidant. It is there to assist your body's real antioxidants. Your body's real antioxidants are these little guys, the polyphenols. And they live inside a vitamin C molecule, which is surrounded by ascorbic acid. You think that's vitamin C? It's not. Okay. Ascorbic acid is made of glucose. And the only reason your body needs ascorbic acid is to protect your real antioxidants. And when vitamin C has taken all the free electrons, you know, it's a free electron scavenger, and the vitamin C is deactivated, who comes along and recycles the vitamin C and cleans it up? Where's the partnership? The partnership is glutathione. This stuff is in your body. And it comes and it says, let me help you. Let me now eat up all these electrons so that the ascorbic acid can get recycled. And the job of ascorbic acid is to protect what's inside the vitamin C molecule. These things are so sensitive to oxidation that we're continuously protected by vitamin C. And if something goes wrong, it's because the glutathione isn't doing this job. Now it takes about 4 weeks to run out of this, if you don't keep replenishing. Or you've got to take more and more vitamin C, ascorbic acid, a little single crystalline chemical. It's not the same thing as the whole shopping bag. Hidden inside there is an amino acid called tyrosine. Now we were talking about thyroid glands. When tyrosine begins to oxidize, there goes your thyroid. When iodine is missing, then goes your thyroid. Polyphenols are things that give color. So when we say what is more healthy, a white grape or a red grape, the red grape's got more polyphenol. So red grapes are full of resveratrol, which is a subcategory, right? A bioflavonoid, antioxidants. All come from these things, and the more colors in them, the more polyphenols, the more beneficial they are as antioxidants. But we still keep on taking more and more vitamin C. We'll go into more detail when I finish doing my demo. But we are now making the glutathione that we need so bad. We're going to go on to the vitamin C at a later stage. Because there's more in there. There's the factor JPK. JPK. Factor K death, he got scurvy. Is that an ascorbic acid deficiency? No. They called it the wrong thing, ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid. It's not an ascorbic thing. You can't cure, scurvy with vitamin C. Visser. You only cure it with Visser. I'm losing you.
And then all of those you find in your citrus and things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
To quickly prove to you that we're barking up the wrong tree with vitamin C, and especially ascorbic acid. Just remember, ascorbic acid competes with the same receptor as glucose. It comes from glucose. So if you're having sugar with ascorbic acid, what's going to take dominance? Ascorbic acid's going to go, and the glucose is going to sit on that receptor. So if you keep taking a fizzy vitamin C, and you look on the label and it says there, glucose, you're fighting against thunder. You're not getting the antioxidant. And that's how people who take vitamin C are now, in this modern age, getting scurvy. Scary. And in the old days on the ships, they used to take limes. British soldiers were called, sailors were called limeys, bloody limeys. Now, how much of this did you need every day to stop the scurvy? A little bit.
Half.
Just a little bit. One ship was travelling around South America in the old days. I think it was in the 1700s. It was a long time ago. And they couldn't get to shore to get a few fresh provisions. They didn't buy little capsules of ascorbic acid. They used to load up on this kind of stuff, put on the ship, hopefully eat enough lemons. When they ran out of lemons, what else did they have? They had vegetables, right? They had this stuff. Now the ship where the crew had got scurvy to the point that the one man was lying at the bottom of the ship. His gums were bleeding. His skin was all blotchy and red. And most of his teeth had fallen out. The other sailors were so weak they couldn't sail the ship. They sailed past another ship who was coming from the other side. And they said, help, help, SAS, mayday, mayday. And the ship said, well, all we've got, guys, that we can spare are a few bags of onions and a few bags of potatoes. But good luck to you, God bless you, goodbye. He gave this and this. 10 days later, the man with scurvy, who had no teeth left, was up sailing the ship. The rest of them were all fine. What had happened? They were so happy to get these after eating salted meat. And believe me, they had plenty of alcohol rations, but there wasn't enough water. So they had enough booze and they had enough meat. But when they took the onions and they were chewing them. The sick guy, the chef, grated the onion and potato, grated the juice, and he fed it into his mouth. And he saved this guy's life. Not with Linus Pauling's ascorbic acid, not even with the limeys, but with these two humble vegetables. So what's their secret? Their secret is this. So that's a lot simpler now to take your medicine. So from here, don't eat potato chips, just...
I was going to say, what happens when you cook those?
They still maintain their vitamin C. When you cook them, they maintain the vitamin C. Strangely enough, the mashed potato does a fair amount, and it takes about this much to maintain this part. Now, once you've got this part back intact, by all means, take ascorbic acid, but support it with glutathione. You can buy glutathione. It costs about 200 rand a little packet. It's about About 200 rand a packet. You can buy this. You can add your MSG. This cost me, I think it's 7 rand. You'll be supporting your vitamin C. So it's a grand cycle for you. Now I'm going to show you how we cure cancer. Using this, okay, the cottage cheese, and later on we'll let you taste it all. It tastes very good. Here's cottage cheese. Now there was a very famous German lady. She was born around our time in the 1950s. She was active then when we were born. Joanna Budwig. She was a German scientist. She was working in a hospital with cancer patients, and she said, now, what's going wrong with these patients? What I see on the cell wall is oxidizing. Okay. There's a deficiency of vitamin D, and there's a deficiency of a certain amount of essential fatty acids that are missing. That's all. So she thought, well, what can I do for these people? She thinks like this. What can I get in the kitchen that's going to fix all these sick people? So she got hold of some flaxseed oil. By that stage, they knew how to get the oil out of the flaxseed. Give it a cold press, you know? Now, she mixed the flaxseed oil into the cottage cheese. Okay. And she mixed it, and she mixed it, and she mixed it. And she found out that it emulsified. Now, making an emulsion is not an easy thing to do. When all the chefs, you know, water and oil, getting them to mix, not easy, eh? Well, this combination emulsifies. The water from the cottage cheese gets in there, but more than that, it emulsifies around the cell and it makes a new cell wall. So she gave this to the cancer patients in the hospital behind the doctor's back. And she gave them about this every day. And it tastes very delicious. The last time I made it in a demonstration, those people said, I'm going to use this instead of butter. Nice. You've got to mix and mix and mix and mix. We have machines to do that. What happened is the patients all started to recover until the head doctor came up to her and said, Dr. Budwig, you are dismissed from this hospital. Because we only support research about margarine. That's what it's all about these days. You and your old-fashioned little granny remedies will have to leave the hospital. So Joanna Budwig left the hospital and she started up her own clinics. And even today, when you look up on Google, the Budwig protocol, do it. You will see this recipe. We've added other recipes to it to make it taste nice. We've got smoothies, we've got shakes, we mix it in, even for aperitifs, you know, when you've got tapas on the table there with your olive oil and bread and things like that. It's a lovely protocol. Now, I had somebody a few years ago ask me what he can do for his niece. She had been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a nasty kind of cancer. And she didn't want chemo, she didn't want to take any of their drugs. What is there that is natural? I've been talking about natural protocols since the year 2000. And the Muslim people regard me as an RX go-to. No? So I said, okay, do this. At the same time, try and look at your blood type and avoid your trigger foods. Your trigger foods are things like gluten, generally. Blood type A, the canaries, blood type A secretors can handle gluten and bread. Most of us cannot. That is usually behind the inflammation in your body.
I'm not supposed to do the dairy, but I can do the goat. Do you add those things to the goat milk as well?
Goat milk is fine. Perfect, it suits everybody. This, the end product, also is pretty agreeable with most blood types. Okay. Every time you put probiotics into something, they grow and they grow and they grow. So here you're not just getting what's on the bottle. If you put this into a cup of water or anything overnight, the TMA, total microbial action, doubles. So 1 teaspoon, if you leave it for 6 days, you've got 6 days. Or if you're a family of 6, you only need 1 teaspoon, keep it for 6 days, so it's economic. You add a bit of this to it as well. You can also add some to this. Okay? Put in some extra microbes. What have you got to lose? You know, it's not only Lactobacillus acidophilus that's missing. There are thousands and thousands. We're going to talk about the biomes of the body after the break. Now we're going to make lentil sprouts. Remember, suitable for all blood types. Lentils have got another very clever ability. When you soak these in water, James and I did this experiment. We tested. You put some of this elemental iodine in the water, the lentil sprouts absorb it. So you're getting a very, very safe dose of iodine when you make the lentil sprouts. So you throw these into a jug of water with the iodine, they swell up. You can leave them there overnight. Once you soak the lentils in the iodine water, they don't go smelly, they don't go slimy, you don't have to rinse them. It's like carefree lentil sprouts. Because normally you have to wash them every day. Now, stick them in here, put a lid on, and about 3 days later you can come and eat. They are lovely. And people like to mix that with that, all sorts of things with them. But lentil sprouts are one of the mainstays. Now, if those poor people on the ships had only done this, I think there's 1,000 times more vitamin C in here. There's also the B vitamins. Okay, we need our B vitamins. When you are depleted of B vitamins, you can't make antidepressants, you can't make all your body's natural neurotransmitters, so your body stops talking to itself. The whole Wi-Fi system goes down due to a lack of B vitamins and antioxidants.
So they've got all the B vitamins. If you're vegetarian, that's what you must have.
Hasn't got all of them, but it's got a goodly dose of most of it, but not B12.
Yeah, that's the one that's the problem.
B12 you still have to get from other sources. But you can get supplements for the B12 as long as you take them under the tongue or inject. But the stomach destroys a lot of the vitamins. But when mixed with food, this is a much better option than taking your probiotics. Now here's advanced acidophilus, and it costs an awful lot of money. And you swallow this capsule, and they say, yes, but then it's going through the stomach acid, it's going to be released at the bottom. There's a horrible story about chemical toilets. A lot of these are found intact, pills and supplements. At the bottom of people's chemical toilets. So it's not only expensive urine that you make. So rather eat it laced through your food. Eating probiotic food is different to taking a probiotic supplement. It's a way of life. The old people didn't have refrigerators. They had to ferment their food. And it became a lifestyle. Lovely food. The other thing they did for their vitamin C was chop up the cabbage, soak it in salt, and make the sauerkraut. Now, the German sailors, yeah, you're pulling your face. The Germans kept scurvy at bay with sauerkraut. Ah. When you mix the sauerkraut with the cottage cheese, it's very nice. So that was a good combination, yeah? And for dairy products, some people on the ships, they even took cows with them.
Yeah, they
had meat and milk, yeah. But they didn't make their own sprouts. Are there any other questions before we go on? Right, so the last part of the cheese demonstration is to start extracting the water from it. Once you've got it like this, you put it into another cloth and you wrap it up. Now you're going to have to start seriously pulling the water out. And you can come and taste this. Utterly delicious. Now the reason there's a black mark on there is I was testing some other salt. And I was testing some salt that comes from another country, from the Caucasus Mountains. It was a natural form of salt. And I put it in just like that. And I found black residue on there. Now I'm a bit suspicious. This comes from Azerbaijan, from the Caucasus Mountains. And it comes straight from the center of the earth. They mine their salt. But you can come and play with this salt. Very strange. But it is 100% natural, they say. Now when you look at the mineral analysis of these types of salt, you don't just find sodium chloride in them. You find a list of all the other minerals. Himalayan salt, you find a lot of other minerals. But salt has to be 98% sodium chloride by classification. And there's only 2% of all the other governances. But I'm not happy that there's a black residue there. Well, it means there's manganese dioxide, not bad for you. There's a lot of iron in here. And the Himalayan black salt, when you look at their mineral analysis, it's got a lot of sulfur. It's got a strong taste. Do you know what black salt is? You're going to taste it. It's like a dark pink salt. I've got a whole salt museum here, and we're going to play with salt. But
Do they sell this?
the black salt, here it is. It's got a dirty colour.
Why do they call it black when it's pink?
They call it black when it's pink. Because the Himalayas are the Himalayas.
Okay.
But the Indians actually, they add charcoal and things to some of the black salts. And there's even a witch salt where they add charcoal made from things that they burn in graveyards. So all kind of salt. But black salt naturally is high in iron. The other very exciting thing is, I know I'm not in favour of putting a lot of fluoride in your mouth, but it has natural fluoride with it. It's got a lot of other minerals, and some including radium, slightly radioactive, molybdenum, all sorts of extra trace minerals. But you don't have to pay extra money for this, for general salt. You've got to have your iodine. None of the earth's salts have got any iodine in them. Only the sea salts have. Okay. So that's why I always tout Cerebos. It comes from the ocean, it's dehydrated, it's salt crystals that are extracted. But unlike some of the other natural salts I know, it hasn't got what comes out the other end of a flamingo in it. It hasn't got what comes out the other side of a fish in it. It hasn't got the rotting seal carcass next door. That's pure natural salt. It's got all that extra nutrition. This has been sterilized, heat sterilized, and they add the potassium iodide. So, for my buck, I use this for utility. For flavor, you can go mad about salt. I want to show you Malden salt. You've heard of Malden salt, the chefs. The little crystals, it's crunchy salt. When you come up close, you'll see they are the shape of a pyramid. And then you crunch them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And it tastes fantastic. When you see that pyramid shape under a microscope, it's just about 99.9% pure sodium chloride. So that is the scientific, you want to get really pedantic about salt. We could go on and on about salt.
The salt from PE is very good.
That's this
The
one.
salt mine.
From the salt.
Yeah.
Sterile. And now you know why they say, oh, salt is just a chemical. I say, yeah, thank God, now I know what's in it. But these salt pans and that, you know, my sister's a nature conservationist, and there's salt all around the pans with the flamingos, and I've seen them, what they do to that salt. No, thank you. Back to the cheese, because you're going to come and taste now, and we're going to chat. I'm just going to show you some of my brag pieces of Parmesan cheese. And you're going to taste it. Again, this is where I learned out of these cloths. I use a nylon cheesecloth, but I've never had any mold, nothing on it. But these cheeses, I've experimented with different mixtures, and I've even added whey powder to this mixture to add more crispy and glassy to make a stronger form of a glutathione-based cheese. This whey protein is very, very, very expensive, but it's a good idea to get some, to get it down your throat. If you want more glassy, gelatin. Easy amino acid to get hold of. So now we're going to take a break. Thank you for your rapt attention, and we're going to play with